Everybody remembers that post about YouTube censorship from Gooseworx, and yeah, at first everyone thought it was all about Zubal's line.
I want the ability to have sex.
No way! Are we finally having this conversation?
Which is only partly true. There's actually another scene that falls under that category too, and it's hiding way more meaning than it seems at first glance.
This is all sorts of embarrassing, huh? So, you're gonna shoot me or what?
What would you do if I abstracted tomorrow?
I'd move on. And probably forget about you.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
Jeez, you really can't take a joke, can you?
And this is where the really disturbing stuff kicks in. The kind of events that didn't happen not just cause of YouTube's censorship, but also cause of a few key details that matter for the story later on. And today we're going to talk about why Pomny ended up not pulling the trigger, not just on Jax, but on herself too, even though all the signs were pointing that way. We all get why Jax dropped that nasty line after Pomny's question, but the thing is, Pomny doesn't see the full picture like we do. So for her, that answer hit way harder and honestly crushed her little world for a moment. Not that long ago they were laughing together, getting along just fine, and then one harmless joke that wasn't even meant to be cruel ended up spiraling into this mess. To be real, this topic doesn't sit well with YouTube, so I'm not going to spell it out straight, but I think you all know exactly what the creators were going for in this scene, and it comes through crystal clear. First off, that pose really does remind everyone of that, and a lot of fans were freaked out because Pomny looked seconds away from actually pulling the trigger. If you break the scene down closer, it honestly feels like she was already preparing herself to do it. In the very last moment, she makes a completely different choice, and that ends up exploding into the fight that leaves her totally crushed by everything that just went down. But let's circle back to the core of this moment, because I'm about to prove to you that the creators originally did plan it that way. I already told y'all about that pose and the angle, but look closer. In that scene, we only see Pomny's body and the gun she's staring at, while her face is never shown on purpose. Maybe that was the creators' way of dodging restrictions, but once they realized the fallout such a scene could bring, they still decided to back off. And if you notice, there's another parallel moment where Pomny's literally fighting with herself, and that kind of panic doesn't look like simple fear of shooting Jax. It's tied to something way heavier. Jax gets that too, and that's exactly why he spins it into a joke, deep down afraid that Pomny might actually hurt herself. A lot of viewers were also thrown off by Pomny's question about her own abstraction, and that's when folks started thinking she might actually be standing right on the edge. That's definitely not gonna happen. Pomny's question was more of a hypothetical, just to see how Jax would react if she really was on the verge. After getting that cold and emotionless answer, she most likely decided to do exactly what Glitch and Gooseworx originally planned, just to test his further reaction. That would have been a crazy powerful moment, especially if right after that scene we got a shot of the loser's room. I'm almost certain that was the original plan, but then the show creators decided to redo the scene because YouTube's rules on this topic are way too harsh. But what if we toss the YouTube limits and look at this scene from a different angle? In that case, Pomny made the hardest choice possible. Instead of doing what Jax was kinda teasing her into,
Now are you gonna shoot me or what?
Did I do something wrong?
Ugh, you sound like Ragatha right now.
But you suddenly
You're not
just...
committing! Do it.
If I shoot you right now, are we still gonna be friends afterwards?
We were never friends.
that way she would have only confirmed his worldview. Or instead of doing what the show creators originally intended, she chose to start a fight. In doing so, she's standing up for herself and putting Jax in a position, either double down on his nihilism or admit he's wrong. Sadly, he went with the first option, even though it's obvious he took it really badly.
What's wrong with you?
Why didn't you fight back?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Because I didn't fight back, that means I secretly care about you? I do not care about you or anyone else in this circus in the slightest. End of story. You are my playthings, and I get joy out of making you suffer. There's nothing more to me. So please, just stop looking.
So in this case, we see that Pomny didn't do what she originally wanted because that would have been way too simple. What mattered to her was figuring out why Jax changed so much and what really drives him, so she picked this way to deal with the situation. But then a legit question comes up. Why didn't she try to find all that out just by talking, and if she realized that was useless, just do what Jax wanted? And here we get into an even deeper layer of thought, because if we remember Pomny's original stance on this whole so-called event...
So, who are you gonna kill first, Pom-Pom?
I don't know if I'll really be doing much of the killing. I'll just find guns for you, and you can do all the violent stuff. You like that, right?
You know none of this is real, right?
Oh, what do you mean? Like the circus?
The game today is literally to shoot each other. So what's the point in taking this moral high ground?
Well, they're my friends. I don't really want to hurt them.
All right, let me be real here. Why do you care about that?
About not hurting my friends?
Pomny clearly made it known she didn't want to hurt her friends, and only after Jax's convincing did she agree to join this adventure. But it's important to get that she saw it all as a game where to win, you had to shoot your friends. That's a key point, because with Jax, it's totally different. The adventure's over. They're already winners. And that shot literally makes no sense. If Pomny had fired, it would have meant something totally different to her than it did during the adventure. And if we think about how Pomny reacts to Jax, even after everything he said to her, we can totally see that Pomny still sees Jax as her friend, and all that aggression was just because she didn't get why things changed so suddenly. I think in episode 7, we're going to see a few key details that tie directly to this scene. We get that Pomny definitely ain't just going to let this slide, and it's going to be super important for her to figure out why her friend's acting like this. Even though Jax did everything to push her away, I'm more than sure that won't stop Pomny from digging up the truth, and she's 100% ready to hear it out a few more times. And the craziest part of all this is that YouTube censorship actually changed the original plan for these events. Sure, it won't affect the overall story or the latest episode, but the in-between stuff we're seeing now could have been totally different. Against that backdrop, I got curious and started thinking about how the next events might have played out if the creators had gone with their original vision. Let's say Pomny actually did it, and it'd make sense that she'd end up as the next loser, which means she'd land in the loser's room where a convo with Regatha would definitely happen, and that storyline probably wouldn't play out any differently. Meanwhile, Jax wouldn't have had to be so harsh, and judging by the emotions he felt after that, he was straight up disgusted with himself, and that's what triggered that panic attack everyone remembers so well.
God, you look stupid.
But I'm still sure that no matter how things went down, it wouldn't change the fact that Pomny was dead set on finding out the whole truth that Jax has been keeping under wraps. And with that, our video's coming to an end. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments and catch you next time.